Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video I'm going to go through and suggest 10 League 2 transfers which just make sense this summer going into the 2025-26 campaign. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. We are now pushing closer to 1,000 subscribers, and if we could try and hit 150 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with my suggestions in today's video? Let's waste no further time and get straight into it. My first suggestion is right back Benn, who has been released by Lincoln City, and I believe he would be a great signing for Swindon Town. This season he spent the entire campaign on loan at Bradford City, who obviously went on to win automatic promotion, and he played a big part in our campaign in the first half of the season. Didn't actually kick a ball for Bradford City since the turn of the year. Did not play a single minute in 2025, but that wasn't necessarily because he was a bad player. I thought Benn was a decent attacking right back, right wing back, and I think for Swindon and the attacking style that Ian Holloway wants to play, Benn will be a really good signing. This season that's just gone by for Bradford City, played in 12 league matches, starting 11 of them, playing 911 minutes, no goals but 3 assists, averaging 1.1 key passes per game, 1.4 tackles per game, 2.4 balls recovered per game, and 1.9 clearances per game as well, winning nearly 50% of his duels as well. And for me personally, with the style of play that Swindon have got, with the profile that Benn is, very good with his crosses, decent defensively as well. Not a world beater, but I think when Swindon are trying to budget for their team, you don't want to be spending a lot of your money on a right back. So I think for me personally, Benn is a signing for Ian Holloway's side that just makes sense. My second suggestion is that of Sam Cosgrove, who has recently been released by Barnsley, having spent the second half of the season on loan at Stockport County, and I think he would be a very good signing for Walsall. Now the Saddlers clearly they need to get a fair few strikers in through the door this summer, with Jamil Matt and Danny Johnson both being out of contract. Josh Gordon been absolutely miles off it. Levi Manchie clearly needing to go out on loan. Sam Cosgrove for me I think could come in and be that physical sort of striker that they're looking for. He's now at a good age as well, at just 28, so coming into his prime years. His goal scoring numbers haven't been amazing over the last couple of seasons, just 1 goal in 9 League 1 starts, playing 26 total appearances. He also did contribute to 2 assists. We go back to last season where he got 3 goals and 4 assists. This is not an awful return, you know, 7 goal contributions in 9 League 1 starts. I think under Matt Sadler or a decent, not a decent manager, well yeah, a decent manager or a different manager, I think Sam Cosgrove, if he was to go in at Walsall on a free transfer, be that Jamil Matt replacement, it'd be a big improvement on Levi Manchie. Again, not a world beater, you know, he's not going to get you 30 goals next season, but he might come up with 10, 15, and you get another striker to be that Nathan Lowe type to score the goals for the Saddlers. For me, I think Sam Cosgrove to Matt Sadler's side just makes sense. Jamie Walker has recently been released by Bradford City, and I think he would personally be a great signing for Harrogate Town. We know that Jamie Walker is going to stay fairly local. He has just recently opened up his own footballing academy, I do believe, so he's going to stay local. I think Harrogate would make perfect sense. There is a lot of rumours at the moment he could be linking up with Mark Hughes at Carlisle United, but for me personally, he is far too good for the National League. I don't think he would quite cut it in League 1 for Bradford City, and that is obviously why we have decided to move on, but he's still a very good player. Ended the season I think as our top assister. Did only manage the 1 goal last season, but also contributed to 6 assists in 16 starts, playing 35 times in total. Last season, or the season before that, 23-24, was probably his best season in a Bradford City shirt, where he got 8 goals and 5 assists, 13 goal contributions in just 27 starts. Clearly a very good player for League 2 level, and at just 31 years of age still does have a lot to offer. And with potentially Ellis Taylor being on his way out of Harrogate, moving on to a better challenge, I think Jamie Walker could be that man to come in. I think Walker thrives when he is the main man. This season when we've had Poynton, Sarcevic, Patterson, loads of different players being more important than Walker, I think he has struggled at times to impress. He still had some good games where he has played very well, but I would say personally, Jamie Walker, we know he's going to stay locally, so surely Harrogate Town just makes sense. I promise I'm not just trying to suggest a former Bradford City players, but obviously I know a lot about them. Diabate was recently released by Exeter City, City and obviously spent the first half of the season on loan with Bradford City. And I personally think he would be a very good signing for Shrewsbury Town. They've obviously just been relegated down into League Two. They had a terrible campaign and they were awful across the majority of the pitch. I don't think Diabate's wages will be particularly high, and obviously he did have a couple of League One appearances this season for Exeter, but a lot of his football did come for Bradford City in League Two. Now, at just 23 years of age, there is clearly still a very good player in there to develop and grow for the future. Now, again, he hasn't played much football since October, really, but until that point, he was playing quite regularly. 11 appearances, 10 starts for him in that time, where he did get the 1 assist, kept 2 clean sheets, averaged 1.6 tackles per game, 3.3 balls recovered per game, and 4.4 clearances per game as well, winning 55% of his ground duels and 60% of his aerial duels. Again, there is the odd mistake in Diabate every now and again, but he's a physical centre-half who's decent with the ball at his feet. I don't think Shrewsbury are really going to be challenging for promotion much next season unless that takeover does happen very soon, which looks very, very unlikely. So I think Diabate, for any side that's going to be around about mid-table, bottom half of League Two, I do think he would be a solid pickup, and on a free transfer, I think Shrewsbury could do a lot worse, to be honest. What was that? You wanted another former Bradford City player, Pereira. He has recently been released by Luton Town, obviously spent this season out on loan with Dagenham and Redbridge, and now at 26 years of age, I personally think he would be a very, very good signing for Bromley, obviously staying quite local to that London type of area, and obviously did very well in the National League this season, despite Dagenham and Redbridge obviously going on to get relegated. He made 29 starts, 35 appearances in total, playing just shy of 2,800 minutes. He scored 10 goals and averaged a goal every 276 minutes, and also contributed to 4 assists, averaging 1.4 key passes per game as well, with an 80% successful dribble rate, averaging 3.9 of them per match. There's clearly a very talented player in Pereira. I think Andy Woodman is the best man to get the best out of Pereira, and I think going into next season, they're going to need a bit more creativity, and with him being now available on a free transfer, for me, I think this is just another signing that, again, just makes sense for Bromley. Away from the former Bradford City players, might come back to some of them maybe later on in today's video, but Christy Pym has recently been released by Mansfield Town, and I personally believe he would be a great signing for Chesterfield. Now, I know there is a little bit of a rivalry between Mansfield and Chesterfield, and maybe that might cause a little bit of a stir up between this transfer, but in terms of the quality that Christy Pym has, he's obviously got proven pedigree, won promotion out of this division before. Now at 30 years of age, I don't quite think he's good enough to make that cut in League One with Mansfield anymore. He did make a couple of mistakes this season, and obviously only played in the 38 matches, so there was 8 times where he didn't actually play for Mansfield in the league this season, and his stats are not amazing. 63% save percentage in the division above, and obviously only kept the 6 clean sheets this season. But in the previous campaign, where Mansfield obviously did achieve automatic promotion, he played every single minute, where obviously he had a much better save percentage at 69%, and he also kept 14 clean sheets in that season. I believe he would be a big improvement. Chesterfield clearly need to improve in their defensive sort of areas, and I do think he would be a smart pickup on a free transfer. Brings a bit more experience into that side. They definitely need to improve in their back four if they're going to stick with the 4-2-3-1, but I think they could do a lot worse than pick up Christy Pym on a free transfer for me. And sticking with former Mansfield Town players, Alfie Kilgour was released this summer, and I believe he would be a great signing for Grimsby Town. Now at just 27 years of age, he's now going to come into them prime years, and obviously recently he has massively struggled since coming back from those, I think it was a torn Achilles injury, which he did pick up. He hasn't quite been the same player, and with Mansfield making that step up into League One, there's clearly been a big contrast in the level, and he's not been able to manage that. So I do think him moving on from Mansfield does make sense, but when he was in League Two pre-injury, he was a very, very good defender for this level, one of the best centre-halves in this league. This season, did only manage the 7 starts, 17 appearances in total, and obviously did fail to keep a clean sheet in any of those starts, but there was still some promising aspects about his game. 1.9 balls recovered per game, 3.5 clearances per game, and he had a 68% aerial duel win percentage, which I don't think is too bad whatsoever. Last season though, again, massively did struggle with those injuries, played in the first couple of games and then wasn't seen after that, and obviously in the campaign prior to that, where I think Mansfield, did they just miss out on the playoffs, I want to say, on the final day. Obviously came in, I think, in the January, I want to say, of that season, and was very good. Scored 4 goals in that season, kept to 7 clean sheets, and I think on a free transfer would be a real smart pickup for Grimsby. He clearly needs a fresh start, needs to rebuild his career once again, and I think it's one of them injuries where once you recover from, I think he'll be back to the same player that he was, and I think on a free transfer would be a smart signing for Grimsby. But again, any team that's going to be around mid-table looking to push on into the playoffs, I think you could do a lot worse than pick up Alfie Kilgour on a free. David Ajiboye was recently released by Peterborough United, having spent the second half of the season on loan at Newport County. The 26-year-old, again, now coming into that good sort of age range, and I believe he would be a brilliant pickup for Cheltenham Town this summer. I think it's very likely that they will lose Jordan Thomas this summer. I think if you were to get David Ajiboye in as a replacement, yes, he's not quite at the same standard, but I think, again, Cheltenham could do a lot worse than pick up Ajiboye. Obviously, in League 2 in the second half of this season, he scored 2 goals and registered 1 assist in 16 starts, which obviously isn't amazing, but Newport did massively tail off towards the back end of the campaign, and I do think if Cheltenham can rediscover that form of Ajiboye, where he got 8 goals and 5 assists a couple of years ago in this division, I do think there is still a good player in Ajiboye. There's a reason why Peterborough dropped a couple £100,000 on him, and yes, it's a transfer which hasn't really worked out. Yes, we're going back a fair few seasons here, but Cheltenham not got the biggest budgets in the world. They're going to be working on free transfers again, and I do think Ajiboye could be a smart signing if Michael Flynn can get the best out of him once again. Ethan Chislett was recently released by Port Vale FC, and I personally believe that he would be a smart pickup for Notts County. I think it's clear for all to see that Notts County need to stop replacing these very good high standard League 2 players with then just bang average players and hoping that they'll come as good, like replacing Dan Crowley with Charlie Whittaker, and there's many more examples that you could name. They need some quality in that team. They need to stop relying on David McGoldrick, and Chislett, for me, to play as one of them 2 number 10s behind the striker would be a very smart signing. Now, at just 26 years of age, has a lot of proven pedigree in this level and the division above. This season really did struggle for minutes, if I'm being completely honest, just the 16 league starts, but still managed 4 goals and 1 assist. We go back to last season, or the previous season in League 1, where he got 9 goals and 7 assists, 16 goal contributions in 37 starts in the division above. There is a lot of quality, a lot of talent in Ethan Chislett, and then even the season where I think he was with AFC Wimbledon in the 22-23 campaign, he got 9 goals and 3 assists in that campaign as well. So clearly a top player for League 2 level. He's not going to be cheap on your wages, but the Notts County owners need to start putting more money into the squad. It's all well and good having a decent starting 11. It's all well and good relying on 75-year-old Dave McGoldrick. He'll still be the best player in the division next season. They need more around him as well, especially when McGoldrick picks up these injuries. Chislett, for me, to Notts County is the perfect signing, and exactly the type of calibre that Notts should be going for if they want to win promotion next season. You look at MK Dons bringing in Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. That is a real statement. Notts County now need to go and match that for me. Sam Vokes has recently been released by League 1 side at Wycombe Wanderers, and I personally believe he would be a very good signing for Danny Cowley's at Colchester United. Available on a free transfer, 35 years of age, so he's going to bring a wealth of experience. And I know that they've also, I think, offered a new contract to Lyle Taylor, but they've still got Samson Tavidi. They can get another younger striker in as well, and I just think to manage the minutes between Vokes and Taylor would be smart for Cowley to do. You can't burn them both out with them, you know, being around mid-30s now as well. And obviously this season, Vokes didn't play as much football. In fact, he barely kicked a football all season, just 59 minutes. But we look in previous seasons for Wycombe Wanderers, where he was very important. 40 appearances, 22 starts, 4 goals and 2 assists in the season before that, where he scored 6 goals and got 3 assists in 29 starts. This is all in the division above what Colchester will be playing next season. Again, I don't see Vokes being the main man. I don't see him scoring 20 goals, but to play his bit part role, bring others into play, use his physicality. I don't think he'll be big on the wages with him now being 35 years years of age. I do think he would be a smart signing for Colchester or any team that's going to play a direct style of play next season. Don't be surprised if he ends up at Gillingham, re-linking up with Gareth Ainsworth, who I think obviously originally brought him to at Wycombe Wanderers, but Colchester for me I think would be the best destination. And there we go then. If maths does serve me correct, there are 10 League Two free transfers, which just make sense this summer in my opinion. If you have enjoyed watching today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 150 likes as I mentioned at the start of today's video, and don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Would you take any of these players at your clubs, and do you want to see me do a part 2? There's plenty of free agents, plenty of transfer suggestions that I could make towards your League 2 club. We could do this for League 1 sides as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you very soon for another one.